Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 Lightning Collection figure releases from the year of 2021. It was quite a year for the Lightning Collection. We had a lot of figures come out, we had a lot of figures not come out in the US, we had a lot of figures not be announced, we had a lot of figures announced for next year already. Going into this year, there's going to be a couple little rules that I'm going to be following to kind of just keep things organized and relatively fair for the year. So first of all, here is a list of every single figure, or a chart of every single figure that came out for the Lightning Collection in 2021 somewhere in the world. So even if it's still only out in one random country in Asia or in Europe, or it's only out in the US or Canada or whatever, it's on the list here because it did release technically in 2021. Now we do have a couple more days left in the year, and as you all know, Lightning Collection stuff pops up all the time, so we could still get a release in there, but for the most part this should be relatively comprehensive for the year. So for the purposes of keeping things fair, I'm only going to be picking figures that I actually own from this year's lineup. There are 14 figures that have released somewhere in the world, whether that be Malaysia, China, Canada, the UK, or even some of them in the US that I just do not own yet, unfortunately, and I don't feel like it's fair to pick a figure that I haven't been able to actually review or, experience or have actual thoughts of having it in hand. So here are the figures that are out somewhere in the world that I currently do not own, and you will not be finding on this list, but I can tell you that if I would have owned some of these definitely would have been in my top 10 for sure, because some of these are some of the best figures that were made this year. I just don't own them yet. Alright, and without further ado, let's go ahead and kick off my top 10 Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures from 2021. So first up with number 10. That is going to go to Mighty Morphin I-Guy. I ended up really liking this figure here, so he will be the last, the bottom of my top 10 because of the fact that I still really do not like the scale of this figure. However, I've really grown to like this guy. I love the sculpting detail on him. I think that they did a fantastic job molding all of his eyes, while even though they're not all painted, it's pretty great. So I really like all of that. The eye feature with the little closing eyelid is pretty terrifying and creepy and weird, and it's cool. I like the little lens cap that can come off for the effect piece for his eye blast. It's a nice menacing figure that, yes, like I said, is probably too big, but I ended up really liking the kind of just bulkiness and the, the different really good clicking in the joints and everything like that. And also, I love this thing, this big standalone eye that he has. This is pretty great, and I'm really happy that while he was originally planned for a retail Monsters Wave 2, he ended up getting just kicked to be his own regular retail release, and I'm really happy he did not get canceled because it would have been a shame if we weren't able to get him. In 9th place, we have Pudgy Pig, specifically the retail version of Pudgy Pig, because first of all, I do not have the PulseCon version, and if I did, and if I was making a worst Lightning Collection figures of the year, which I'm not going to make that video, but if I was, that would easily be the last and worst place one because of the price point alone. But this figure is really good. I think that it is a little better scaled than the other monster figures like I-Guy we just looked at, and Pumpkin Rapper and Peking Sphinx and such from 2020. I think he does scale a little bit better just because of the kind of the biggest, bulkiness of the kind of figure and of the character. And the sculpting is really well done. I love the mouth and how wide it can open up. You can fit a lot of fun food accessories if you get like the little doll ones that I showed off from Amazon, or if you buy the PulseCon version, you get a couple pieces of food. I love the Roman Gladiator helmet and kind of the sculpting, of the nice like hair part up there. It's really nicely done. Also, it has the biggest Lightning Collection box of all time, which is, I know, not like a huge plus for the figure, but it's just a really imposing box that when you get that for the same price point that you're getting the deluxe figures from, or I-Guy from, or whatever, you feel like you're getting better value just because of how big and thick the box is, and he's just a nice piece to have on your shelf, and that's why Pudgy Pig is number 9. At number 8, from Wave 8, we have Zeo Green here. Good old Adam himself finally getting a Lightning Collection figure release, and it was really well done. So I already liked the sculpt of the male Zeo body from Wave 4 and from Wave 6 that we got with Rocky and Tommy. And it's great here as always with Adam here. And not only does Adam have, everything you would want him to come with. He has his axes, he has his sword and his blaster. The Johnny on Bosch Adam head sculpt, really good. One of the best the Lightning Collection have ever offered. And I will say that this is up here pretty high because of the fact that I also just have a personal bias for the Zeo Green suit. It just looks pretty neat. and I really like how it translated to Lightning Collection form. It's not going to be higher on the list because of the silver trim around the visor. Unfortunately, he joined Rocky and also Catherine for having the silver trim instead of the correct white trim that Tanya and Tommy have. So that does bring it down a little bit, because honestly, if it had a white trim, it might be a perfect figure to me. A perfect Zeo Green figure. I mean, I guess he could have had the gold around his cuffs that was present on Rocky and stuff like that, but the Zeo team was never consistent in the Lightning Collection, but it was nice to be able to complete it in the year. Well, the Cat 2-pack's not out in the US yet, but it was nice to get at him here. In 7th place, I put the metallic MMPR Red Ranger from Hasbro Pulse, the first store-exclusive figure that I've put up here on the list here. It's also my favorite of the metallic releases we got this year, so it was really nice to get the other 4 metallic Rangers to at least complete the core, 5 members of the MMPR team. So not only does it have that glittery, shimmery plastic, translucent kind of effect that's present on the other metallic armor figures, this one actually got some well-needed updates. Not only did they fix the helmet, they actually were able to give it a better trim and a better head sculpt than we got with the previous Armored Red and Mighty Morphin Red releases from 2019. So it was great to finally get that fixed. And since this was a Rocky character, they were finally able to give us a better Rocky head sculpt than we got with Zeo Blue from Wave 4 that could actually try to look like Rocky. And I do have a personal bias because Mighty Morphin Red is one of my all-time favorite Tokusatsu suits, so of course I was going to like how this figure turned out. Up next at number 6 is Lost Galaxy Blue from Wave 9. Why was this figure so perfect? No offense to Kai, absolutely no offense to the character of Kai, but I've always considered Lost Galaxy Blue to be one of the team filler releases, Rangers that we desperately need to complete Power Rangers teams, and of course I would love for the Lightning Collection to give us every single Ranger possible someday. I consider figures like him, or even Zeo Green, and a lot of the figures we got in the actual regular waves this year to be team fillers, not the most popular Rangers ever, but you need them to complete the teams. And I think that's kind of where Kai fits. I don't really ever see anybody exclaiming Kai to be their favorite Ranger of all time, which once again, not a diss to the character. I like the character of Kai, but they knocked it out of the park here. Not only did they correct the helmet from what we saw on the promo images, in which the helmet had a bunch of white paint up here when it's supposed to be silver, and it is just all silver in the final release. They fixed his Quasar Saber, which had Leo's symbol tampographed on it and not the gorilla symbol, so that got fixed. So not only did we get a corrected figure, it really paid off in the end, because we got a great helmet, we got a great sword, and then you look at the head sculpt, and that's another one that they knocked out of the park. It looks exactly like Kai pulled out of an episode from 1999. So Hasbro killed it with this one. It was proof that they sometimes do listen to fan feedback before figures actually hit the shelves. And that's why it's here in the top 10. So for number 5, we have a tie between basically the exact same figure, and that is the Zeo Cogs from the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Army Builder 2-pack. How could I pick one over the other, right? I mean, they're essentially the exact same figure. One's just this maroon body, one's this silvery body. I guess if I absolutely had to pick a favorite of the two, it would be the silver body, because I just prefer the shimmery plastic and the shimmery kind of, the speckled paint that they have all on the figure. But this was fantastic. I love this 2-pack. I love how much stuff you get in it. I love that you get the big staffs, the little staffs. You get the effect pieces for the punching and for the chest explosions. You get the swappable heads, and I really don't know how else you could do Cogs better. And while I think the price point might be a little bit high for these, you are getting a lot of accessories like I mentioned. So, it depends. Do you want to army build them? Basically, you have to get the 2-pack if you want to get the maroon Cog, because you can get this one in a single release. So you could just get one of the 2-pack and a couple of these extra ones, save a little bit of money or whatever you want to do. The Cogs were a great Army Builder 2-pack to have, and I love that Hasbro Pulse keeps making those. Coming in at number 4 is going to be the Morphed Raphael figure from the Ninja Turtles subline. So, first of all, I really wish I had more of the Ninja Turtle figures here. They are all out somewhere in the world right now, although I don't think anybody's been able to get all 7 just yet. And while the Shredder one is definitely going to be my favorite of the 7, I'm pretty sure, I had to include at least one here. I am still completely blown away that they actually made the TMNT figures this year. I love this so much. These were characters and Ranger suit designs from the comics that I never thought we would ever get in the Lightning Collection, and here we are. And they nailed it. It looks fantastic. I love the molded shells on the back. I love that you have the weapon storage. I love that that's a whole new body to accommodate for the turtle shape with the hands and with the feet and everything, with the helmets and everything. I love this so much. I love that they included a Raphael civilian head. I never would have thought we would have gotten the figures, let alone civilian heads and the full effect pieces and like 2 extra pairs of swappable hands, so you get 6 with all these guys. Oh my gosh, I love it so much, you know? And I'm not including the Foot Soldier Tommy with this one because that one is probably my least favorite of the TMNT 7. It just kind of feels like an extra figure that they made to justify doing 3 different 2-packs. I had to include it on the list to kind of just represent the whole TMNT subline that they made. But this is a really good one to represent the whole lineup there, and I cannot wait to get the full set. Kicking off my top 3 is going to be the Tango Warrior, also from Wave 9, which... what a wave, guys. You know, I already picked Lost Galaxy Blue from this wave, and now we have the Tango Warrior. Another troop builder we got this year, just like the Cogs, and technically the Foot Soldiers from TMNT. But wow, like this figure has like no right to be as good as it is, right? Like for a troop builder figure, you know, just a regular wave figure, I've seen a lot of toy reviewers out there put this in like their top 10 action figures from the year. Not just Power Rangers Lightning Collection. And while there are obviously at least 2 more figures here I'm going to put on the list that I like better than the Tenga, just because of their characters and the figures, I cannot deny how fantastic this figure is. It has a big, menacing look to it and everything. It might be a little too big, but if you kind of hunch him over and everything, it's not terrible. I love the metallic green that is like speckled on the feathers and everything. It's fantastic, and like the little rust effects on the chest there. You have the opening beak. Like, we didn't need that kind of level of, like, you know, functionality, but it's awesome. I love that you can take the wings out of the arms and, like, swap them for the bigger wings. I love that they come with the Tenga eggs. That's a really fun accessory. This is great. Like, a fantastic figure that I bought 3 of him, and we are getting a Tango Warrior 2-pack of some kind in 2022, so I can't wait to see how that's going to be different or whatever, but regardless, I'm good to get more for my flock here, and the Tango Warrior is a fantastic figure, and probably is the best Lightning Collection figure in terms of design and sculpt that they put together, but there are at least 2 more that I really like more than this. Number 2 is the figure that Hasbro doesn't even want you to know about, In Space Silver. The figure that's caused a lot of problems this year because Hasbro has still yet to announce its existence, and it's still not popped up at Walgreens like it's supposed to, but In Space Silver is a fantastic figure just like all the other ones on this list here. I love the kind of pearly, metallic, silvery plastic that they used for this. I mean, I think a metallic silver paint scheme or paint job would have worked just as well. The Zane head, which I know a lot of people made jokes that it looks like Jay Leno, I think it's not bad. It definitely, I think, looks better than the Psycho Silver release that we got earlier this year, and I really like that figure as well. I'm also have a huge bias towards Silver Rangers. They are my favorite color of Power Rangers out there, and we really don't get that many in the Lightning Collection, so when we were finally going to get Zane here, I was really excited because it was a 6th Ranger, a Silver Ranger, the first Silver Ranger. It had completed the In-Space team, and it is a great figure if you can find one. I know it's a pretty rare one to get because he goes up on Hasbro Pulse and he sells out, and he hasn't shown up in Walgreens, and he's barely out in the US, but if you can get your hands on him, hopefully Hasbro will actually officially announce him someday. He's a great figure for 2021. Really quick, before I head into the last pick of the list here for today, I do want to give a brief honorable mention to a couple of the figures that I know would be in this list if I was able to get my hands on them in 2021, like I mentioned earlier, like Ecliptor here, which looks fantastic. I'm so excited to not only get this one, but also the Red Ecliptor version that they're making in 2022. I think just like the Tango Warrior, or just like the Ninja Turtles, they knocked it out with the unique sculpt on this guy that makes complete sense that they're using him again for a simple repaint. Totally justifiable to me. From the people that actually do have it in hand, I cannot wait to own this absolutely awesome looking figure. And my final honorable mention is the Finster figure, which was given out to a couple of different influencers during Hasbro PulseCon, and has been released in a couple of different countries around the world, because Dennis, who sculpted this figure, completely blew me away with all the details on Finster's apron. I absolutely love the like Pudgy Patroller, you know, mold suitcase thing that he comes with, and like the rolling pin and the little, you know, tools and stuff that he has. Like wow, you know, for a character that didn't really do a lot. I mean, he did important stuff, but he kind of just hung around Rita's workshop. He's a great character to keep going and getting the rest of the Moon Palace people, because I cannot wait to get this figure. Hopefully we get it before the April 1st release date of 2022 that he's currently slated for, because he did come out in 2021 for some people, which is why I'm considering him a 2021 figure. And for number 1, my favorite Lightning Collection figure released in 2021 that I do already own, Phantom Ranger from Wave 10, because I love this suit so much. I love this character, and they did a great great job. So not only is this guy pinless, which makes him a unique Lightning Collection figure in that regard, he's the first pinless jointed Lightning Collection figure to where you can't see the little circle pins on his arms and his legs and stuff like that. I know a lot of people don't like the big hole in his chest for the effect piece, and I get it, it is a little distracting, but it does create a pretty cool effect. He overall just feels like a super solid figure, you know? The sculpting detail is phenomenal. I'm sure that means that they're probably going to reuse him as a repaint for the Morphin character that we've seen is going to be a thing in the Power Rangers Universe comic coming out pretty soon, since that is just a white repaint of this suit with Astronomer's staff. So everything that they already have pieces for, so that could have been kind of a, you know, getting ready for that, could have been a prep kind of thing. It is still strange that he's labeled under In Space and not Turbo, but I kind of get it there, and that's not going to take away from anything from the figure. There's like no details about him that I think are missing. I know some people think that he should have like a, you know, copper kind of forehead band and not like a silver one, but that's just kind of depending on like what frame of the show you're looking at and everything like that. But from a distance, and all of his accessories he has, and his joints, and his poses you can pull him off with, posing with Cassie, or your In Space Rangers, or fighting a flock of Tangas from like the Edge of Darkness comic, you're not going to be disappointed with Phantom Ranger, and I most certainly am not, as he is my favorite figure from 2021. Alright guys, and that's going to do it for my top 10 Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures from 2021. Wow, what a year. We had a lot of figures come out, the most figures ever in one year for the Lightning Collection, and 2022 already seems to be, you know, trying to get up there in the numbers as well. We already have quite a bit of figures announced for next year, and there's a ton more that I've already told you are coming that Hasbro has not revealed yet, and there's a ton that I'm sure I don't even know about yet. I know that for a fact that there are that I don't know about. So I'd love to hear your guys' comments down below. What were your top 10 favorite Lightning Collection figures of the year? Were there any that I was surprised I did not include on my list? Were there any that have to be on your list that you know I didn't include or whatever? Or is your list a little bit different because you have some of the figures that I don't have? Because I'm sure some of you do. I already know some of that you do. And yeah, that's all I got. So of course you can check out reviews on every single one of these figures that I talked about here today on my Lightning Collection, you know, playlist of videos and such like that. I have reviewed every figure that's released this, you know, so far this year, and I will continue to do so as I get them in. And of course, until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR. I'll see you all in 2022 for the Lightning Collection. Thank you all for watching, and thank you Hasbro for making another great year of Power Rangers Lightning Collection.